It's Geekazine special coverage of Blog World New Media Expo, Voices of New Media, and it's brought to you by the folks over at Stitcher, smart radio for your smart mobile device. Continuing coverage of Blog World New Media Expo, Jeffrey Powers with Geekazine.com and Stitcher smart radio for your mobile device. We're here, we're talking to everybody and anybody in new media. That's the Voices of New Media, and we've got Adam here of ProudlyResents.com.
Right.
You got a podcast out there, and that is called also ProudlyResents.com, correct?
It's called Proudly Resents. It's a cult movie podcast. We have top comedians, Jimmy Pardo, Jimmy Dore, a lot of Jimmys, and they come on and we talk about good, bad films and why we love them, and then also the people who make them. The Room, I don't know if you know that we have the director of The Room, the guy who claims he directed The Room. He came out of the woodwork and is taking credit for the worst movie ever made. So I have an exclusive interview with him. The dad from Troll 2. I just interviewed Mike from Blair Witch Project. So a lot of the people from who make these movies. And a guy who just made a movie called Worst Movie Ever. And it made $11 in the box office.
Really?
Yeah.
Who did that movie?
Well, this guy, Glenn Bergowitz, I don't want to say his name wrong. He's this independent. He makes independent films for $2,000 with his friends in Denver, and he gets released. And this one was released here in LA at midnight at the Lemley, and did 2 showings. One person showed up, but the question is, who's the one guy who at midnight is like, maybe I'll go to a movie by myself?
I think that was me.
That was you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I gotta go see a movie every now and then. No, actually, probably not, but.
It sounds more like an alibi than something to do.
So the name of the movie was called The Worst Movie Ever Done?
The Worst Movie Ever, the movie that he made, because he wanted to do a tribute to terrible films. And that's basically our show, Proudly Resents, ProudlyResents.com. I love these movies. And we got really funny comics who are like Christian Finnegan, they're like, what the hell? So it's a funny show about bad films.
Cool. Now you're doing another thing, and this is it's all about promotion, and it's not as much promotion of Proudly Resents, but more of promotion for independent artists. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
it gets frustrating because a lot of people are on their own and they're doing stuff out of their kitchen or basement or studio, and they need backup. So I started a Facebook group called Independent Podcast Alliance. If I can go back in time and do an easier name, but look for that. And tons of people are coming on with the same issues. They have questions about Stitcher came in. How do you get on Stitcher? Easy enough. How do you promote yourself? How do you get ads? What do you use to edit? What do you use to this and that? And how do you use Podbean? Do you use iTunes? So people have these questions, and we're all there to support each other and promote each other. People are like promoting each other on their podcasts now, and you're getting new listeners.
And you just started that, so it's got a low group number, but it seems that there's a lot of interaction going in there, correct?
It's crazy. People come right away, and a lot of them have the same questions. How do I promote myself? How do I get advertisement? And and it's already there. And people respond, and there's great answers.
So you don't respond. Well, you respond to some of it, but you also see other interaction, people talking to people, and that's what it's all really about sometimes.
Everyone has different opinions, and there's different things that work for them. So like somebody swears by PodTrack, and then someone else says that's not good. So some guy called it the Cadillac of stats 2 seconds after someone said it was junk. So but there's different options there. So it's really good. If you're a podcaster, go there, even just for resources.
Do you use PodTrack? Are you the one that said it was junk?
No, after he said it was the Cadillac, I was like, I got it. It's the Cadillac. I don't know. You don't like it. What do you use?
I use different stats. I had never got into the PodTrack one, but I have other stat system. But don't worry about my preferences.
Well, it's a little suspicious. Maybe people are podcast geeks. I signed up yesterday, and now it knows my whole history.
Really?
Like, how did it? I just put my URL. How does it know for the past year that 12 people listen to my show? Which is 12 more than I thought.
Well, it's 12. Next year will be 12, and the year after will be 12, and then the year after will it'll be the end of the calendar, and Armageddon will happen, and we'll have to start all over again. Yeah, that's pretty much
I think if you do go pro, you get 13 or 14. If you pay, you get more listeners. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, now we learned something even more. So.
No, but if you go to the group Independent Podcast Alliance, at least just to promote yourself. You'll find a lot of great people who are doing the same thing you're doing.
And then once again, the podcast?
Proudly Resents, ProudlyResents.com. And we have a new show called Dream Tweet, the game show to go, starting at Stitcher next week.
So how are you going to do that with the game show?
We have a lot of comedians and actually podcasters. We go to different podcasts, people to their studios. And we play a game. It's a Twitter game show where you have to guess what the celebrity is by the tweet that comes up. And then we have comedians, we have joke tweets and fake tweets, and it's a lot of fun. The host is great. Jonathan Corbett's a great comic.
So yeah, if you show up a fake tweet, somebody's going to call BS on it or something like that?
Well, like the last one's usually just like a group one, like a fake one making fun of the person, and you have to guess it. And we've had great people on it so far. We've had Christian Finnegan, Paul Goebel, and I'm running out of names. Writers from Conan. The Conan guys are into it. And the guys who write for Bill Maher.
Oh, okay.
So we have a lot of comedians playing the game.
And that website will be?
That will be when I figure that out, but you can find it. You go to ProudlyResents.com, and I'll have all the information.
ProudlyResents.com for everything. All right. Well, thank you very much, Adam.
I appreciate it.
All right. There you go. It's more than just podcasting. It's about putting it on Facebook. It's about promoting yourself and promoting yourself in different ways. You don't even sometimes you just got to get in and find a place where you can ask questions, and that's where the IPA, I did it right, it's the easy way to say it. So, and that's where you go from there. This is Jeffrey Powers. This is Blog World New Media Expo. Of course, Stitcher Radio, Stitcher Media for your smart device. You can go download it now. We got a lot of great more interviews coming up with people like Adam. So stay tuned because we're going to do everybody in this hall. I hope.